What's up, everybody? Welcome to Headset Havoc. I'm one of your hosts, Josh Wilson. Here with me today is the Day Walker, Corey Holder.
What up? Last podcast in the old house.
I know you're moving. That's exciting.
Yeah, I've been packing all week.
So when do you officially move in? Like, when's your first night?
Our first night will hopefully be Thursday night. We close Thursday morning. Hopefully be out of here by after lunch sometime.
That's exciting. When do you have to be out of your old house?
I would assume by Thursday afternoon sometime. I mean, closing day's Thursday for our house. Like, the people that bought our house are closing on this house Thursday as well. And then we're closing on the other house Thursday. And the people that we're buying the house from closed on their new place Thursday, all at the same lawyer's office. So it worked out perfect.
Oh, so yeah, all three of them. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the place they're moving in is going to be, like, all the paperwork's going to be faxed in so other people don't have to be there.
I got you. The last member of today's podcast, the Dragon, Zach Smith.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, Smitty?
Just
Now
I'm the huge man.
You've got some exciting news, don't you?
Oh yeah, I just completed my undergrad at Gardner Webb University. Go Bulldogs!
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a little delayed, but at least I knew what I had coming for me this semester.
Yeah, we were following with your Snapchats today.
Yeah.
Keeping us up to date on your progress.
Yeah, man. I woke up. I didn't go to bed till I started watching a show on Netflix last night after an exam at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Next thing I know, it was like 4:15, and I was like, "Oh God!" And it was Last Chance U, man.
That's the name of the show?
It's a documentary. It's so good. It's about the East Mississippi Community College football team.
Okay.
It's really good. It's where players who have had maybe like they've got in trouble at like a D1 university and have been like kicked off the team, they can like transfer there because it's a junior college, and then they can get looked at and hopefully go into another D1 school.
Okay.
A la Cam Newton.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
LeGarrette Blount went to East Mississippi when he got kicked out of Boise State.
That's right. I forgot about that.
They've had a bunch of...
He's a Oregon, by the way.
I was about to say he ended up going to Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So he hit the kid from Boise State.
Yeah, he hit the kid from Boise State, but
that's right.
He got kicked out for a year, and then
Right.
I don't know if he went back D1 or went to the NFL. I can't remember.
I don't know. I can't.
But yeah, I had to. I didn't get off there till 4 o'clock this morning, and then I had to. I didn't realize this, but one of my exams was due at 12 noon today instead of 12 midnight.
Ugh.
So I woke up at like 8 o'clock this morning and started working on that.
Now, didn't that mess you up last time?
What?
Thinking something was due on a certain day and it was actually due the day before or something?
No. I thought that I could turn it in late, and it ended up being like 2 months late and zero on a bunch of stuff.
That's uber late.
Yeah, it was my fault. I accept responsibility for that mistake.
100%.
Live and learn,
100%.
brother. Live and learn.
And then get loves.
Yeah, but then, I mean, I ended up getting to take the same class with the same teacher again, so I'd already done the assignments, and I just had to I redid them, but it was basically the same. My viewpoint wasn't going to change.
Right.
So, but it wasn't bad.
Understandable. Well, if you're a listener to the show, you notice we're missing somebody. That is Mr. 7600, Brock. He had some prior engagements he had to take care of tonight, so it's just us three. We'll be going through the podcast as usual. We'll just have one less voice to, dazzle your ears, your ear holes.
Ooh.
Now, there's a couple things before we get into the whole rigmarole. I actually went to my favorite restaurant this weekend. Now, have you guys ever ate at a Brazilian steakhouse?
No.
Oh my God, you're missing out. Do you know what the concept of a Brazilian steakhouse is?
Brazilian food.
Okay, so I'll just tell you.
You asked
So-
me if I knew. I was just guessing.
So you have to get a reservation at this place. It's the place called LeBlanc in Greensboro, actually. And whenever you go in, they always ask, have you ever been here before? Blah, blah, blah. Now, whenever you sit down, you'll notice that you have a little coaster on your table that is red on one side and green on one side. Now, what this means is it's one price whenever you walk in the door. No matter what you eat, it's one price. Now, what that price grants you access to is their salad bar and they call it their cold bar and their hot bar. So on the cold bar, there's the usual like salad stuff. There's some shrimp. There's oysters. I don't think there's oysters. Mussels. There is potato salad, pasta salads, stuff like that. And in the hot bar, there's usually some soups, some rice, things of that nature. They also bring you these types of rolls that are actually gluten-free, which is great for me. And they'll bring you mashed potatoes. Usually it's garlic mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes. And also that you have like these kind of like fried bananas.
Plantains.
No, they're actually bananas, similar to what you would get at a Japanese restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But why you're really there, why I go, is that little coaster. Now, when you flip that when that coaster's at red, it's basically telling the wait staff, no, I think they're called gauchos. That's what the wait staff is actually called.
That's a pair of pants for women.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
They're named.
I'm pretty sure
like, that's probably what they're called because that had to be named after something else.
I may be wrong, but I think they're gauchos, and maybe because something completely different. Oh well. Tweet at us at Headset Havoc. Tell me I'm wrong. So, whenever you flip it to green, they start bringing out meat. Now, this is all grades of meat. There's lamb. There's house sirloin, there's prime rib, there's filet, there's flank steak, there's, I think I already said lamb, there's different types of sausage, different types of tenderloin, different types of chicken. And whenever they bring it, as long as your coaster is green, they bring it to your table and ask you how much you want. And they cut it off of this big ass meat skewer, and you just grab it with your tongs and just eat as much steak as you want. Unlimited steak.
All right, so here's the question. Here's the real burning question in my mind.
Right.
How much is this shindig?
At this place, it's actually only about $35
A person?
a person. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I was expecting more, to be honest with you.
Now, whenever I've been to 4 different ones. The one in Greensboro is very, very great. Is very, very good. Now, the one that I went to in New York is more expensive. It's roughly $60 a plate. But that's the best meal I've ever had in my entire life at that place. But it's also New York. Everything's expensive in New York. But yeah, $35 is reasonable. And the way that I look at it is if you go to a normal restaurant and you order a steak, it's $25 steak right there. And you can have all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
So
Totally worth it.
now, can you flip that sucker to green as soon as you sit down?
Absolutely. Actually, one of the guys that I went with, he didn't go to the salad bar. He didn't do nothing.
Absolutely
As soon as he got his drink, he flipped it to green.
Yeah, that's all I want to do. I'm not there to eat. I'm not there to eat rabbit food. I'm there to eat man food.
Exactly. That's where you can go and be a barbarian for sure. But yeah, so we went there, and then after that we went to, and of course me and my wife and a couple of people I work with and their wife went and ate, and then afterwards me and my wife went and watched The Big Sick, which is a Apatow film. It's actually hilarious. I definitely recommend going and watching that movie. And it's actually a true story, which I knew it was a true story, but I didn't know it was the lead actor. It's the guy from Silicon Valley, Kamal. I can't think of his last name right now, but it's actually his true story. Huh. It's pretty funny though. I highly recommend it. It's probably in the running right now for my movie of the year.
Whoa.
But yeah, but that's just me. Anyways, if you didn't know, We are Headset Havoc, a weekly podcast that releases every Wednesday, rain or shine. Each week, we get together, we talk about gaming news, give our opinions. Then we answer your burning questions. At the end, we throw in a rogue topic. Just to keep you on your toes, round out our podcast each week with a band pick of the week. But if you're only here for the games and you want to bounce before we get to that off-topic stuff, that's why we put it at the end. So you can bounce after you hear all the gaming news you want to know. I know we're like 15 minutes in, we haven't even talked about games. That's just what we do. But if you like what you hear...
Perks of having 3 people.
Exactly. Head over to patreon.com/headset havoc, where as little as $1 grants you access to exclusive content each and every month. If you don't feel like it's worth $1, that's fine too. Just listening and sharing our content really helps spread the word. Now, we actually have the game draw for the free game it's actually going to be taking place tomorrow. So if you didn't get in this month, well, you're shit out of luck. So one of 3 people, I think, right now,
Yep.
You got a 33% chance of getting a brand new game. So I definitely recommend
Or used if you want to save us some money.
I mean, if you want to get used, that's,
That'd be super.
that's your prerogative, but there is that option of a free game. Standard editions only, none of this limited edition shit.
None of the $150 2K bull crap.
Yeah, I can't. No. So, anyways, let's start the show with our topical segment, Mail Call.
It sound like
God, it sounds like Anchorman.
Yeah.
Top notch, everybody.
Oh, so
Whammy!
So this is the first time I've ran the soundboard.
So
I've got sound effects
for days.
Oh, now you've set a precedent. Like Brock has to do that.
Maybe he'll add in another one somewhere, at a different topic or whatnot. Anyways, number 1, PlayStation Plus free games for August 2017 have been released. On the PS4, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, Downwell, Just Cause 3. PS3 is Snakeball, Super Motherload, and on the Vita you also get Downwell and Level 22. Now, I wasn't sure what Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry was when I first seen that. And actually it is the DLC, it's a standalone DLC for Black Flag, which I didn't know. Yeah, I've never played it, so...
Well, that answers my question.
Oh, was that your question? What in the hell is Freedom Cry?
Yeah.
So, yeah, make sure you go in. Even if you don't download the games, just make sure you go into the PlayStation Store and just click Add to Library. That way, whenever you feel like playing it, you don't have to download it right then. Whenever you feel like playing it, you can just pop back in and download it. Number 2. PlayerUnknown's Battleground passes GTA 5 and Fallout 4 on Steam charts. PlayerUnknown's Battleground, which is the Hunger Games-like PC shooter that launched earlier this year. It's actually in early access. It's not technically a full game launch at the moment. It continues to be massively popular. It's now the record holder for the highest peak player count on Steam for a non-Valve game. Battlegrounds hit 481,219 peak concurrent players in July 2017, surpassing Fallout 4's 471,000 from its launch month of November 2015, and it had already passed Grand Theft Auto 5, which hit 360,000.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, so I know that none of us, or us 3, are PC gamers. I know I've talked about my desire to get into it. I'm just saving up for a rig. I got to get that Patreon money.
Got to get a rig.
Please donate.
Yeah, he wants a rig, guys.
So
Not a computer, a rig.
This game is just everywhere right now. I know it keeps popping up in the news, but it just keeps it's steamrolling. If you go to any gaming website right now, I mean, it is all over the place. I mean, there's live streams. It's usually either the number 2 or number 3 game being streamed on Twitch right now, and of course, it's always competing against Dota and League of Legends. But yeah, it's actually even fun to watch. I've spent hours just watching it. Have you seen it? Like watched a little bit of the gameplay, Corey?
Yeah, I've streamed a little bit on Twitch. When there's not really a whole lot going on.
It's pretty interesting. I would, and you can run in squads of 4. Now, whenever this releases the console, all 4 of us, we've got to squad up.
I'd be down for that.
Never roll alone, you know?
Yeah.
No way. Starts again for life.
SG4L. What was?
SG4L. Number 3, PlayStation Plus prices increasing in Europe and Australia. Sony has announced it is increasing the price of its PlayStation Plus service in Europe and Australia. From the end of August, you'll have to pay more to grab the monthly game library and play online multiplayer on PS4. From August 31st, an annual PS subscription will now cost £50 or €60 or 80 Australian dollars, which is an increase of 10, 10, or 10. So we actually, in the U.S., had an increase. I want to believe it was I've got it's written down here. I want to believe it was last September. Yeah, September of 2016, it increased $10 for us. So a lot of people, there's a lot of people that are, crying foul. Why does prices keep going up? But I almost feel like that's the nature of almost everything.
Inflation, brother.
Yeah, gas prices stay down, so everything else goes up.
Yeah, they're climbing. They're steadily climbing again.
Well, I feel like we've been in a nice.
We've been at below 240 for like 2 years now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which, when you have a 25-gallon tank like me and you have, it's really nice to only have to pay $60 to fill it up, whereas the pump used to cut off on me.
Yeah.
Oh, that used to suck ass. Where you had to reinsert your card.
Yep.
Oh, that pissed me off. Now I can remember because Corey actually bought my truck whenever I sold it. I can remember spending $110 to fill that truck up.
I've never spent that much, but
it was insane.
It's been in the $90 range from time to time.
So yeah, I mean, prices are increasing, but I feel like that's the name of the game. It's going to keep going up. I would think. It's a service that we have to pay for.
See, now I used to pay when I first got my PlayStation, which was November of 2015. I got 3 months free, just the bundle that I bought. But once I started paying for it, I was paying like $9.99 a month. Just had it on like automatic renewal. Well, then they took that away. They got rid of it. So I was like, well, I'll just pay $25 or whatever until I can get the year subscription. And then they brought the $9.99 back. It kind of pissed me off a little bit. I mean, it's saving me $5, but I know I need to just go ahead and get the year subscription.
Yeah, see, I got it on yearly automatic renewal, so I typically don't even realize it. And then I'll get an email. It's like, thanks for your PlayStation purchase. I'm like, what the fuck did I buy? I'm like, oh.
It did that to me one night, and I was like, whoa. Somebody hacked me.
What I don't remember buying anything. And I was like, oh, never mind. Never mind. Number 4, Nintendo Switch hits 4.7 million units sold, which is almost 2 million units just sold in just the last quarter. So this system continues to sell extremely, extremely well. I will probably end up getting one later on this year, probably around when Mario drops. Of course, I was a Nintendo fan, and then I got away from Nintendo because there's no third-party games. There's not a ton of third-party games to play. None of I picked my console based on where my friends play. So, and right now, I'm curious as to what the numbers could be for Switch if they weren't having so much, component shortages. Right now they're competing with Apple for components. So apparently some of the components that are going to be used in the new iPhone are actually used in the Switch as well. So that's an interesting number. I think the Wii U only sold somewhere in the 10 to 15 million units range. So just when you thought Nintendo was out, who the hell knows what Nintendo's doing? You can never gauge Nintendo.
I was going to say, it's kind of like having a 2K game. You never know what's going to happen.
Nintendo is Nintendo, and they will always be Nintendo.
Ooh.
So, what we've probably talked about this before, but I mean, is the Switch kind of like the Vita?
So the Switch is what the Vita should have been.
Bingo.
Okay.
Really, truly. Now, I have a Vita.
Yeah, I know.
I love my Vita. Now, I'm a late adopter on the Vita. I'm part of the problem. I didn't adopt early, and it died out. It's there's still some games, but it's not a lot that are coming out.
I mean, the Vita was basically just an enhanced version of the PSP, right?
Yes
And no.
and no, kind of. Now,
I had the PSP and I loved it.
see, I didn't have a PSP. My brother had a PSP, and I played it occasionally, but I was never a big handheld gamer because I didn't feel like you could get the same console experience on a handheld. I was wrong, but that was kind of always my opinion. And then I was listening to a bunch of podcasts, and some of the hosts were big Vita proponents, and I was like, maybe I got to check this out. Maybe I got to check out the Vita. And they'd done an episode of like top Vita games, and I was like, okay, these actually sound like full experiences. And sure enough, yeah, I checked it out, and some of my, a couple of my favorite games are actually on the Vita. So I think there's actually a reader mail question about this later on. I'll probably get to, but yeah. So the Switch, it's what the Vita should have been, and it also doubles as a home console. So you can put it in so it's a handheld, but you can also put it in basically its docking station and play it on your TV.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is cool.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, great concept. Now, it's not as powerful, of course, as your PS4s or your Xboxes, but yeah, I mean, I'm really interested. I want to play the Zelda game. I want to play all the Nintendo exclusives. I was not secretly. I'm on the fence. I didn't know if I wanted the Switch to do well, because I think the industry does need benefits from a healthy Nintendo, but I kind of wanted Nintendo to just go third party. I would love the day that Nintendo just went third party, so that was one less system that I had to buy.
Yeah.
To play all the games. If I could play Mario on my PS4,
that would be awesome.
If I had that entire catalog, my God.
But see, I mean, you don't have to buy all of them. I mean, you don't have an Xbox.
No, but the way that I look is there's so few exclusives on Xbox. There's Halo and Gears of War, and I'm not a big Halo fan.
Yeah,
and Gears of War's I enjoyed the first two Gears of War, but I mean I'm not going to buy a system really.
You can live without it. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, for the it's excuse me, and like the Xbox, for the life of me, I just consider it the bro shooter console.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
And I like a lot of the quirky titles that come to PlayStation.
Oh boy, do I got some quirky titles.
So I enjoy those, those off the wall kind of indie stuff. Now, granted, Microsoft did do they of course started like the indie, revolution, but I feel like as times went on, Sony's kind of, taking that over. They're kind of the place for indies to go now, which is interesting. But number 5, also more Nintendo news. This is negative news. So
wah, wah, wah.
There is a sound effect for that.
Why didn't you use it?
I almost got it.
Damn.
But I didn't. So Nintendo announces Amiibo use for Metroid on 3DS. Unfortunately, with Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS, Nintendo has decided that Amiibo use will replace traditional unlocks, seemingly locking entire modes away behind a player's ability and desire to purchase Amiibos. Last week, Nintendo revealed plans for Amiibo usage in Samus Returns, using 2 Amiibo made for the game and 2 for the Smash Bros. Series, which has already been released. Each figure has a different use during the game and a separate use after initially finishing the game. Beating the game and scanning the Smash Bros. Variant of power-suited Samus, for example, unlocks concept art for the player to peruse. While this is not ideal, concept art is at least tangential to the overall experience and can be easily accessed in the modern internet age. The far more egregious use is the Samus Returns specific version of the titular main character, tasked with unlocking the fusion suit and the harder fusion difficulty upon completion of the game. Hard mode has been in previous Metroid games such as Metroid Prime, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, and others. In no Metroid game before, Samus Returns has a harder difficulty required an extra purchase. So, this is interesting. So, do you guys know what the amiibos are?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so do you know what the Skylanders, those little toy things are?
Yeah.
So it's their version of that. It's little toys that have a sensor on the bottom, and you can actually place it on the 3DS or the Wii U, and it unlocks in-game features. So up until now, it's been, you could use a character in the game, an extra character in like Smash Brothers or something, Smash Bros. So at this point and here's the thing about that. These things are extremely hard to find, like everything else Nintendo. They fly off store shelves, and you can't find them unless you go to, of course, eBay and pay outrageous prices for them, like a scalper's price basically. So the interesting thing here is Nintendo is locking certain difficulties behind Amiibo, which is hard as hell to buy. So now you have to buy the game, and you have to buy an Amiibo to unlock this difficulty. And that's just a little shady, in my opinion.
Which sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it would even be one thing if they were easy to find, but they're not easy to find. And you can bet your ass that as soon as this game released, they're going to go up in price. They're going to be harder to find, and they're going to go up on price in the resale market.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know. It's like I said, it's Nintendo being Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they keep asking, or some people have been asking Nintendo, do I have to have the Amiibo for, asking questions about this, and they keep going, go to our Facebook page, information's on our Facebook page, but there's no information on the Facebook page. So it's just this vicious circle, and no questions are really, being answered. And I hope at some point they change their mind on this, but Nintendo doesn't really do that.
Yeah, I was going to say their game plan typically is not changing their mind over anything. They typically, it's just, they keep it close to the vest, and I guess that, their business model.
It's Nintendo. They love that artificial scarcity.
Yeah.
Even when it,
I everybody off.
Yeah, even when it hurts their fan base, it's a negative to their fan base. So, I mean, you have these instances with the classic consoles that they're releasing, like they can make more money. I will gladly give you my money, but I can't find it. So.
Yeah. I don't know where to go.
Yeah. Number 6. We got some NBA 2K18 news that released last week. And the headline is 5 big ways NBA 2K18 plans to push its franchise mode forward, which is interesting because franchise mode gets no love.
No.
I don't think there's been any major updates to franchise mode since 2K12 or somewhere around in there. So I used to play the franchise mode quite a bit before like 2K16 was really whenever I transitioned into park mode. So I love my career. I played my career and I played franchise mode, or my GM. So the 5 big ways. So I'm going to go through these ways. Number 1, my GM, the next chapter. So apparently they're adding a story mode into the my GM, similar to the way that they do my career. Which it's basically you're going to play through a kind of a story mode for 1 year, and then it's business as usual after that. Similar to the way that my career does, where you play through a story, and then after you finish that 1 year for the story, it just goes on. the story basically that it ends and you just keep going. Number 2, revamped free agency. The NBA free agency moratorium is a 5-day period before the official start of free agency where players and agents can meet with teams and hear their pitches. This process has never been represented in an NBA game before, but this year you can participate in the frantic 3-day scramble to secure a binding agreement from a coveted player. So this is similar to the period of time remember a couple years back when DeAndre Jordan was supposedly going to Dallas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
That whole debacle. So that happens during the free agency moratorium. So it's a little more realistic part that they're throwing into the off season. Number 3, they're introducing analytics. Now, I love analytics. I love numbers. And I was reading. Yeah, so I was reading the article, or the blog post from 2K, and one of the things that they touched on was if you have a big rebounding need off the bench, you can search for players based on their rebounds per minute. So it's that access to information that you can get really granular. So so if you're for instance your rebound, you have a big rebounding deficit whenever you go into your bench, so you need to bolster that. You can search for players based on their rebounds per minute, not just rebounds a game like before. You can search for rebounds per minute, stuff like that. So that little bit of extra granularity, I think's pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet.
Number 4, they're integrating the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement changes. So this is basically they're making sure that the Supermax contracts are in there based on your tenure with the team, the bird rights, all of those new collective bargaining agreements that have been passed in the last year or two, they'll show up. And number 5, they're implementing the stashing international prospects. So basically you can draft a player and stash them for a period of time overseas, same way you can do in the real NBA. So it's a couple of, they say 5 big ways. I don't think they're huge. The analytics part's probably the story mode is interesting for sure. And of course the analytics is probably my favorite little aspect. So I can get in there and really dig into the numbers. But do you think, do you guys ever play the franchise? You strictly My Career?
I've played the franchise a little bit. I'm more on the My Career and then, of course the online stuff, but I think I would try that because that does seem like it would add an extra spice, so to speak. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, at least I'd run through a year and like play through the story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to when I was living in Greensboro, all 4 of us would draft a team, as far as a draft our own franchise and play, see them every other game. But then when we came up against each other's teams, we would play each other's teams and go that way. So, I have dabbled in the past, but I think that was 2K14 maybe or 13.
Yeah.
But, in the past.
See, I thought we could do something like that.
It was fun. You could do it in a day. If you had a Saturday, you didn't have anything to do. It was something to waste time with and, drink with your friends.
I thought that would be interesting. I'm all about making 2K better. So if they this attention to my GM, which they never do, if they'll devote the same attention, just concentrate on making the game more lifelike, just these little tweaks that it needs. And if they apply those to the other modes, then I'm of course I'm all in, but I'm really anxious to hear about the My Career for sure. And, we'll as long as they keep making it better, because 2K17 was an off year. An off year for sure.
But it was still fun.
Oh, it was absolutely fun. But I want it to be great.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Speaking of great, Topic of the show.
Let's do it.
Cue sound effect.
I don't have a sound effect.
Damn it,
What?
Josh.
Brock can add it. Brock can add it next week. He can come up with a sound effect. Everybody needs to pick a sound effect, and we'll play it.
Okay.
But then we could get kind of gimmicky. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
We'll go. Wow.
So I've been playing. If you listen to last week's podcast, I've done a little social experiment with on a mobile game, and it got me thinking about how shitty most mobile games actually are, or how what a money grab most mobile games are. So the topic of the show is, what would it take for a mobile game to be great? Now, do you guys? I think both of you play Boom Beach.
Did.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little bit past, but yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
did.
So why did you stop playing?
Truthfully, the waiting.
Yeah, the waiting sucked, and the clan that we were in or whatever. Like there was when Corey first started playing. I mean, we were doing
We went ham.
the missions like every day. Like I'd get an update every day, like go attack, and all this stuff. And then it went. I logged on like 2 weeks ago, and it had been like 75 days since we had done one.
Yeah.
89 days, something like that, something ridiculous. And I was just like, this was fun for a while, but then like they stopped doing it.
Yeah. Then there at one point when like the Mega Crab came, which then part of the game.
Yeah.
There wasn't literally 3 people in our entire clan were doing it.
Yep.
So I played Clash of Clans for a very long time.
Same concept.
So it's made by they're both made by Supercell.
Right.
So I played Clash of Clans for probably a little over a year. I spent a little bit of money, nothing major. And the way that I always look at things like that is how much. What am I getting out of my money? So if I played Clash of Clans for a year and I spent $50, like that's a pretty good bargain. If I'm looking at it as a game, like a $60 game, like I'm about to pay $150 on 2K because I'm gonna get the Legend Edition, and I'm gonna play that for basically all year. I'll play it off and on all year.
Right.
So once I look at per time spent, that $150 is a better bargain than the 50 hours that I put into Horizon. It costs 3 times as much, and I play 2K 10 times as much as I did Horizon. Now, I think Horizon is the better game, but as far as per minute spent with the game, that's kind of the way that I justify those types of purchases. Plenty of people don't spend any money on
I never spent
mobile
time
games.
on Boom Beach.
And that's part of the issue is
Right.
it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
These games come out as they're free to play, and so they have to make money. These are developers. They run a studio. They need to make money. Of course, that's how they're able to put out a game, make the game better. But there's a difference in so I know at one point Clash of Clans was making $600 and some thousand a day.
Holy nuts.
Yeah.
God.
And it's all off of microtransactions. So I stopped playing Clash of Clans for the same reason you guys are talking about stopping playing Boom Beach, because of the waiting. I was at the point where it would take me 2 weeks for an upgrade to finish. So it would take me 2 weeks to farm for the resources to then buy an upgrade that would then take 2 weeks. So that's a month for an upgrade.
Right.
And that's just asinine in my opinion. That's a terrible end game.
I mean, that's a bait for, hey, buy me.
Yeah, buy gems so you can speed this process up.
Yep.
And it's a little, it's deceptive and to me. And these games are mostly marketed towards kids. And I know there was actually a big class action lawsuit against Apple because tons of kids, because of how easy it was to purchase, make these in-game transactions.
Right.
I thought that was against the like Android, like Play Store.
I'm pretty sure it was, maybe it was both of them. But
I'd
I
say
know
whoever
that
had it.
I do know that I got an email about the class action lawsuit for Apple.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So yeah, that always aggravates me because in almost any mobile game, the waiting is so ridiculous. Now, I've got a couple idle games that I play that, like, I'm towards the end game, and like the waiting is just for me to do anything on this one game I'm playing. I'm waiting a day. Like, so it turns into each morning I wake up and I pull up the game, I collect some resources, and then it's on to the next day. I collect some resources, I buy what I can, and then it's on to the next day, waiting until my money, piles back up.
Yeah.
And that's it's not a good way to keep like it's losing. I'll probably within the next week or so give up playing it, just stop playing it. And so what the question is, what would it take for a mobile game to be great? So I think the Boom Beach and the Clash of Clans, that style is actually a great style for a mobile game. That kind of like base defender attacking other bases.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
I love that. I love that because you can upgrade your base, the layout, the way you position your towers and stuff like that. Greatly affects how well you do in the game, and you can always change it. And it's there's a lot of thought that can be put into the game.
As the Saturday Night Live says, strategery. There's a lot of
Exactly.
strategery. That's a George Bushism.
There's a ton of strategery, and how you attack different bases. What army you bring. So I think that makes a great mobile game. Also, a good use is like free run games. So similar to Mario Run or
What was that? Temple
Run.
That was pretty
addictive.
fun.
Yeah, I never felt like I had to spend any money. I thought that was a good game for mobile, or something similar to like a Tetris.
Yeah.
Or Brick Breaker. All of those are good mobile games in my opinion.
Snake.
That's old school.
But then you gotta, nobody remembers the old Nokia phones with Snake on it.
Well, I do.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're forgetting probably one of the most popular games of the two most popular mobile games, Candy Crush.
Yeah, and see, have you ever
Never
played Candy
played.
Crush?
Nope.
Absolutely.
It's such a money grab.
Well,
Is it?
I might have spent like $3 on it. But what would happen to me is I would get stuck on a level, and then I might not, get on the game for 2 months, and then I'd get back on it, and I'd finally beat that level, and then I'd beat like 7 in a row. Then I'd get stuck again, and boom, I'm laying it down for another month.
Yeah,
I know
so-
where the other one you're going for is, Smitty. I know what the number 2 is.
Angry Birds?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Which is
so I
another great idle game.
Yeah.
yeah, they are a good mobile game, and I think that style also plays making a mobile game really good.
Well, they're also making it semi quote unquote cartoony, like to appeal to the children, and so everyone goes after it.
I mean, Angry Birds has turned into a franchise that extends beyond games at this point.
Movies and clothes and everything.
Yeah, so, but the Candy Crush, I would always get to a point where, say, I had to finish a puzzle within 20 moves. Well, I got to the point where I could finish the puzzle within 22 moves. And it wanted me to spend money to finish, to get 3 extra moves, to do, spend $1 to get 5 extra moves, or to get a token that you could use for 5 extra moves. And like, you intentionally made your game this way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like that is not, in my opinion, a great game. If you make the game to where you intentionally have to spend money in order to succeed, pay to win.
Now, I mean, you technically didn't have to. I mean, like, my girlfriend has never spent any money on Candy Crush, and she's like 100 levels ahead of me. But
Well, yeah, you don't have to, because there is a solution for it.
Yeah.
But it's just it's made in a way that they dangle that. Oh yeah, I can see where I could finish this game. I could finish this level in like 2 more moves. It's just and you failed it 5 to 10 times already. I'll spend $1. I'll spend $1 to get past it.
It's worth
and
it.
then the next level, guess what? There's 300 levels after that do the same exact thing.
Yep.
So like I'm not a fan of those games. I don't. They'll always be there because they make a ton of money, and with that, there was always going to be ripoffs. But I think in my personal opinion, what would make the mobile market great is eliminate the waiting period. Like I would rather spend $10 on a game out of the gate and be able to play it and not have to do this waiting game.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you're going to have to strike a balance because you're not going to at that point have the whales that are spending hundreds of dollars on the game.
Yeah, but then everybody's going to be leveled exactly the same.
But instead of making it to where you've got to wait freaking 13 days for something to upgrade, make it to where, like, if you're that high of a level on that, whatever you're trying to upgrade, make it, 2 or 3 days on that one piece because you're that high of a level. I could have dealt with that better on Boom Beach instead of having to wait 14 days for something to upgrade.
So I would even go the route of, like in an RPG where you're grinding for something, or when you're in the Division, you're grinding for a gear piece. Like I'm actively doing something within the game to get to that point. Instead of simply, I have to wait. There is nothing that I can do to speed this time up except spend money. And I don't like that. So do some type of grind.
Yeah.
I mean, make it to where, this is a day wait, or you can do these 5 dungeons.
Yeah.
Or you could, or each dungeon you done knocks off 6 hours of your time, or make it to where I can actively play, like during that there's no limits on how many things that I can upgrade at one time. Like in Clash of Clans, you had to have a builder hut for each thing that you were upgrading. So you couldn't upgrade more than 4 things at once. Putting these limits on you that basically make you or prompt you to spend money to succeed is what takes it away. Because I loved Clash of Clans. I think I got to level like 108. So I played it for a really long time and I enjoyed it, but I mean it just got to the point where the waiting was too much. Like I was constantly being prompted to spend money, and I was like, no, sorry. And I think it falls, that's when people fall off when they get tired of waiting. But if you could actively be playing, like if I could have, for each base I destroyed, it would have knocked time off of my wait period, I would have kept playing.
All right, let's see. All right, for instance, I don't have anything high level that I can upgrade, but a level 15 sniper tower, the upgrade is 1 full day.
Yeah.
I think I've got something
that's
pretty
low
high.
level stuff. Oh yeah, I've got things that are higher than that. That's just one of the things that I had.
Yeah, now I know. I just looked a minute ago. It's been 102 days.
Yep.
Since anybody said anything on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just because of the waiting. You're kind of forced to be idle.
Yeah, and then when you know you've got 2 to 3 day wait, you're not going to want to get on there and do anything.
Yeah. So just keep me coming back to the game. Give me a reason to continue to play.
Yeah. Now, Smitty and myself and another one of our friends have played a 8-ball pool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And now, if that's something you're into, that's actually something you don't have to spend. You can spend money on it because obviously there's upgrades to buy and et cetera, et cetera. But you could actually just get on there and continue to play. But it does get a little bit boring because I'm not huge into actual pool. So billiards, if you don't call it pool.
Billions.
But they do have 8-ball and 9-ball, and there's a lot of freaking people that play it. Like my entire Facebook friends list is on it, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, one pool game after another, after another, after another. It really doesn't matter what upgrades you get. It gets a little boring to me, personally. Some people it doesn't.
Yeah, it got a little boring to me.
I just never, I do enjoy playing, but, after 2 or 3, 4 games, I'm basically over it.
Now,
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say this game that I downloaded the other night, it's called Brain Physics.
Mm-hmm.
That game is wild.
You would love it, Josh.
Yeah, you would. That was pretty much what I was telling you, because you basically are given, you've got a truck and there's a box and there's an outline of a box, and you have to draw as little amount of lines as you can on the screen to get the box, the real box, into the fake box. So it's pretty wild though. It makes you think.
It definitely will.
So I think we basically just our consensus is to stop the bullshit,
Yeah.
money grabs, keep
Stop
us
the money
coming
grab,
back.
basically.
Stop the money grabs, keep us coming back. Then we would spend money out of the gate if it meant we didn't have to be nickel and dime to death.
Give me something to work for, then I could use the skills that I possess instead of having to spend skills that are in my wallet.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's kind of a shoot-off of these 2K type deals where you're in a money grab for VC or whatever the game may be to keep up with the Joneses next door.
Yep.
I mean, that's basically all it is. It's went from handheld, or it's went from one to the other. I don't know which one started it, but it's crap either way. But that's just kind of how it's going.
Go back to skill based, not pay to win.
Bingo.
All right, so that wraps up topic of the show. We're going to go to listener mail. We've got, I think, 4 questions. Ooh. Space Angel writes in, what is the next game you plan to buy?
Yeah,
go ahead. Comes out? 2K probably, I guess, will be the next game, unless something just... we went to Best Buy yesterday. I almost pulled the trigger on the Resident Evil because I haven't actually played it, and it irks me so bad. It just... Because you have it on VR. I almost bought it yesterday.
Yep.
But it'll probably be 2K if I don't, just some random game.
And that comes out middle of September.
Right.
Now...
What comes out in August? Anything spectacular?
A lot comes out in August.
Okay, crap. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. I'm not sure. Probably any of the above or all.
A lot comes out in August. It's ridiculous.
I had it mixed up. I was thinking 2K came out in August and the other ones come out in September. But yeah.
So in August we have Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Yeah. Life is Strange is coming out in August. Agents of Mayhem, Lawbreakers, Hellblade, which is the same studio that done Heavenly Sword. So Hellblade, Heavenly Sword.
Yeah, that's that Senua's Revenge or whatever. Is that what that is? Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, so August actually does have quite a bit of...
Yeah, I had them mixed up. That's on me.
So the game actually I will probably buy next, I may buy Patapon tomorrow. It releases tomorrow, and it's a PSP remaster for the PS4. And I've been hearing a lot from one of the podcasts that I listen to. The guy is like in love with Patapon, and I'm like, I watched some Let's Play, and I'm like, this looks like a nice little change of pace type game. It's like a rhythm game. Yeah. I remember it when it came out for PSP or whatnot. I remember reading reviews on it and stuff, but I actually may buy that tomorrow. I'm looking for a change of pace game. So that may be actually the next game that I buy. If it's not that one, then Uncharted Lost Legacy. That comes out the 26th, I believe, 20-something, and I'll definitely buy that.
Yeah. I'm going to retract my statement of 2K and say there's probably going to be Hellblade.
I'm interested in that one. I want to see what the reviews say whenever it comes out.
Because I really enjoyed Heavenly Sword.
Yeah. What about you, Smitty?
Well, I mean, new game is going to be 2K. A game that I don't have yet that came out this year that I'm going to buy before I buy 2K is Wildlands.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That new PvP coming.
Yeah, buddy. I'm actually
interested
excited
in
about that.
Yeah.
At least I'm excited to see what they're going to offer, I guess, more so than to play it.
Yeah. All right, so Weston writes in, what are some possible solutions to make online gaming communities less toxic? It seems like 90% of the people I've encountered online seem to be total fuckwads. There should be at least a way to rate people, not just on games, but on platforms. That way you know what you're in for. It would at least create a hint of credibility. So this kind of piggybacks, off of our topic last week. And some possible solutions to make it less toxic. Unfortunately, I think just the nature of it being online and people not having face-to-face interactions with people is what really causes most of it. The same way people are total assholes on Facebook or in forums, or can be.
Or Twitter.
So, yeah, Twitter for sure. So, it to me, I think he's proposed a nice solution, actually, to where each, like if your gamer tag, but it comes with a big con. So if your gamer tag, for instance, if they were, were playing 2K and somebody just like roast me, like they have like, you can report a player.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times there's nothing that really gets done because there's the whole, you got to provide proof and then blah, blah, blah. And it's he said, she said. So actually, I think being able to rate a player on their sportsmanship, like, so if my online ID and PSN, like if you could pop on my profile and like I'd been rated by 100 players and my sportsmanship on a scale of 1 to 5 was a 4. Like, then you'd be like, oh, okay. And you could also be like, so in Rockstar, I'm pretty sure it was Rockstar, done where on their on GTA Online, if you like went rogue a lot or, killed other players a ton, then basically you got put on servers with only those people. So you only got put on servers with assholes. If you were always an asshole to other people, then you got put on a server with nothing but assholes. So I think that's an interesting way to do it.
I don't hate that idea.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, so if, for instance, if you're on 2K and you quit all the time, like, so you can time people out, which they do for unsportsmanlike. But if then you put them on servers, so if they got dinged like, oh, this person has, if you're like quit percentage increases above a certain percent, then you then get put on servers with other people that quit all the time. So that you're like, you get put on the server with the other assholes. And then whenever your quit percentage drops back below that level, that cutoff, you can come play with the other guys again.
You can play with the adults.
Yeah, so I think that's an interesting way to handle it. The problem with like the rating system is you could have people that just like negatively rate somebody, like just for the sake of doing it, just to be an asshole. Yeah. So the same assholes that you're trying to weed out are then ruining it for other people. And that's kind of the con that goes along with that.
Yeah, because like you said, there's always going to be assholes, whether you're trying to prevent it or help it.
Yeah. And I think that once you got labeled an asshole, and like if you had to say like you were, because let's admit it, there's a lot of kids, a lot of young teens that play online, and say they're 13-year-old and they were an asshole and they get dinged with an asshole rating, then they get a little older and they're like, oh, I'm not an asshole anymore, but now I can't play with anybody.
Well, sorry for your luck.
Because I've been an asshole. Maybe that's the punishment. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. I like the game itself basically sequestering assholes onto asshole servers where they only have to play other assholes. That's my solution.
Yeah, if there was a way to actively continue that and then possibly be a way to un-asshole yourself, I guess. If the need arises.
Yeah, you got to have a way to
Well, that's what I'm saying as far as if like a certain percentage. So if you every game lobby you get in, if 20% of the time you're going and killing all the other players, then you get put on a server with a bunch of with other people that do the same exact thing. And then whenever your percentage drops back below an acceptable level, they bring you back.
Right. I'm way down with that.
Yeah, what was it when I used to play Xbox? People used to get their like accounts suspended all the time on Call of Duty. I don't remember what it was they did, but because people used to share stuff with me all the time, like, yeah, he got his account suspended for 24 hours, or like the next time it was like 72 hours, and it was.
See, Xbox was a whole lot better on their reports, from my understanding of it. Like, if you were reported, they actually followed through with it. They didn't just say, hey, all that other shit.
Yeah.
They also just had a better online system, period, really.
You're right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's probably right now probably the best solution. Yeah. The Bearded Goblin writes, what time period would you like to see an Assassin's Creed game set in?
World War II.
I thought of the same thing. World War II. I thought of the Civil War. Something American, I guess, is what I was, because we've done a bunch of other ones.
Yeah.
Or a completely modern Assassin's Creed. I thought would also kind of be interesting.
I was thinking futuristic. Not futuristic like Halo futuristic, but like Horizon futuristic.
Okay.
Like so far future.
Yeah, there's still people, but I don't know. I don't really know how you would do it, but I think that'd be pretty cool.
Well, it would be hard to do modern or futuristic because of the nature of the game.
Because of the nature of you being in the Animus.
Yeah.
See, that would be similar to the way that up until Assassin's Creed 3, where there was a modern day setting, you went back and forth between the two. Mm-hmm. If you had like a Desmond era that was just modern day, where he didn't go back into the Animus.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, probably really and truly, probably either World War II or the Civil War.
Yeah. Civil War would be cool too.
Yeah, either one of those. There's a lot of stories to be told.
Yeah.
In both of those time periods. Caleb asked, last question, what is the best handheld version of a game that started on console?
See, I don't really know any. Like, you gotta give me an example.
All right, so a couple examples. There was the God of War, Ghost of Sparta.
Mm-hmm.
That was on PSP.
That was actually a pretty good one.
That was a good one. Then they were actually so good that they eventually went back to. They eventually put a version on the PS3.
Yep,
and
that's how I played it.
Yeah, which is actually how I played it as well. So I don't feel like I could use that since I didn't actually play it on handheld.
No.
But see, he's asking. I mean, it started on a console.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you said that it started on the PSP.
Well, God of War started on
PlayStation 2.
The franchise started on PS2.
Right. And then they released a PSP game called God of War Ghost of Sparta, which was a prequel, standalone game. And eventually it did get ported over to console.
Okay,
Wasn't there 2 games that were on?
I believe so.
And because I think me and you both bought both of them at one point.
Yeah, you could. It was like a
2-disc set.
Yeah, exactly. Well, both games together. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I don't know how that would count, but I really enjoyed both of those games. So that may be the only one I've ever played that were like that. I don't know.
So Uncharted Golden Abyss on the Vita is a great game. Another one that I've played. So this is one that neither of you are going to know about, but
it doesn't surprise me.
Persona 4 Golden.
Oh yeah, that one's in my backlog.
So
Persona 5, yeah. Persona 4, no.
So Persona 4 was released on PS2. And a few years later, it was released on Vita with some, a few upgrades. But that is, it's a phenomenal, and it's perfect for the Vita. That type of game is and I'm like 25. I played for probably 25 hours. But that game is, to me, is played in like 30-minute chunks. I go and I grind a dungeon. It's a JRPG. I go and I grind a dungeon, and I grind. I'm grinding characters. I'm forming relationships with other characters, and it's super Japanesey super Japanese. But
God,
yeah, it's definitely a JRPG for sure. But that's probably the best handheld version of a game that started. It's actually probably better than the console. It's better than the console version. And I think it's at home on the Vita, because that's the way that I like to play that type of game. It's the same way I play Danganronpa. Now, of course, that was on just for the Vita until recently. But like whenever I travel or long car rides, or whenever, like when I went to New York, that's what I played on both my flights. So in all the travel, that's what I played, and I just think it's at home on a handheld.
I've really been interested in Persona 5, just from reviews and all that stuff. The side note, sorry.
I have been as well, because I do enjoy Persona 4.
Wait, that was a real game?
Yeah,
Yes.
Persona 5 came out this year.
I thought that me and Corey were just being assholes. That's where I was going with it. So that's on me.
It was all over a lot of things as far as like the RPG style, like reviews and everything. It was top of the list on a lot of people.
Yeah, so I've heard great things about it as well. The thing that keeps me from starting it, it's like 100. It's like 100-hour game.
Yeah,
and like I just don't. I don't know that I can do it.
And another one, also a side note, that Nier Automata or Automata.
I say Automata.
Okay, there. That I don't know how to. I don't know.
I've heard people say it the way that you said it as well.
I don't know how to say it, but yes, that's another one that's in the same category.
Yeah,
this is completely off the topic. I'm sorry, but
some people are calling it Game of the Year.
Exactly, but it's another one that's going to be ridiculous amounts of hours.
Yeah, I think you've had to play it like 6 times through, because the story changes like each time.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, sorry, that was a tangent.
No. So, Smitty, do you have a best handheld version?
No, I mean, the only thing I can think of is like I sold, years ago. I think I was in 10th grade when the PSP came out, so we're talking like 2004. I sold my PS2 and got a PSP because it was a new hot shit. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the games that I played were like the sports games and stuff. But I can remember the show being really fun on the PSP, and even Madden was fun on the PSP. I can remember going like on a field trip or something and bringing Madden, and I would play offense and my buddy would play defense. And I would just we'd hand it back and forth.
Oh, so he got the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm. No, he wanted to play defense. That was the thing.
Oh,
he must have been like me, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a defensive machine. Yeah. But yes, I mean,
I had a different problem with that. Like, I was the opposite on that. Like, we went to Kentucky and somebody brought a PSP. I didn't think the football games translated as well.
Really?
But I mean, that was just me. Like, we wanted to play each other, I think, a lot too, because we obviously I brought our PS2, or I believe it's PS2 at that point, to play each other with, and we were just wanting to get on and play each other. So the sports games were just kind of a teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
It is what it is, and that wraps up the gaming topics for the show. Next is Rogue Topic. Who has the Rogue Topic?
I guess it's me this time.
Corey, what is your Rogue Topic?
Moving 101.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
It sucks.
Yes. What is the best way to go about moving an entire house to another house?
So I have moved. This will be the first year that I have not moved in 5 years. So I moved into the house that we bought last year. Well, let's take it back. Let's take it back to where I, from the house that I lived in when I met my wife. 2000. When did I get married? Oh God, 2013.
Yes, 2 years before we did.
I got married. I moved an hour away. Then, about 18 months later, I moved into my first rental home. Then a year after that, I moved into another rental home. And then a year after that, I moved into the house that we now own. Each time I moved, I gained more shit, and it made it more and more of a hassle.
Yes.
So I have sworn that the next time I move, I will pay someone to move for me. I will hire a moving crew, and that is my best solution. Hire 2 men in a truck and have them move my shit.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is the way we're going about it is we have the truck. We have a moving truck, a box truck. We've been kind of packing up stuff, which you really never know what kind of shit you have until you get ready to move.
Oh, God, you find shit that you didn't even... I was like, I don't even remember buying this.
Yeah, that's where we're at now. But we have the truck on loan from a friend for tomorrow night, Wednesday, and Thursday. It has to be back Friday morning. So we're going to, when it gets here tomorrow night, we're going to move things that we don't use every day and the boxes into it. And then, or that's going to be Wednesday, I'm sorry. And then when I get home from work, we're going to move the heavy stuff in there. And then that way everything's in the truck ready to go on Thursday when we get done closing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be the easiest way to go about it. And I have procured the help of one friend who is going to help me with the heavy lifting.
Gotcha. Yes, friends, that's a key.
Yes.
So if you can't do it the way that I suggested doing it, we'll just pay somebody to do it.
Be friends with people who will help.
Be friends with people that work for a rental company.
Ooh.
That helped me last time. Friends with a guy that works for a Penske. So we didn't have to pay for the truck. And the way that we went about it, which I thought made the most sense, is of course, start early.
Yeah.
Boxing up the shit that you don't use every day. Throw away a lot of the shit. You don't need most of the shit you have. Really and truly, there's a ton of shit, especially the way that my mom has been a hoarder, and so sometimes I hoard a little bit of shit and just throw it away. It's the best time to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Take it to Goodwill, donate it, whatever you got to do. I done a bunch of that just so I didn't have to, move shit and then unpack shit and then put shit up. I donated a lot of it.
Yeah.
But start early, pack up the stuff you don't use every day. And what we actually did, so we were able to actually start moving stuff in probably a week and a half before we closed on the house.
That helps out a lot.
Yeah, so we actually just put every night we would make 1 or 2 trips. And now granted we only live 10 minutes. We're moving 10 minutes away.
Was this from the house we moved you into to the one, then you moved out into the one you're in now?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. I got you.
So, the last three times I've moved, I've only moved 10 or 15 minutes each time.
Yeah, because the
first
time my
move
helps
was
weren't bad at all.
Yeah, the first move was an hour and 15 minutes. So, but then we would pack up our car with it, a bunch of the boxes. Always label the boxes what's in them.
Oh yeah, we went through Sharpies, bud.
Yeah, so label the boxes and then take the boxes to the new house and put the boxes in the room that they go in.
Yeah.
Leave them there. Tip number 1. And that's all the stuff that you can move with your car. Now, the heavy stuff, save it for the day of the move. And that's like beds, couches, chairs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Move it on. Yeah, the heavy lifting, move it all at once. And make sure it's like the last thing you really do.
Yeah. We're going to hopefully have it on the truck Wednesday night.
I think the biggest key is once you get everything moved into the new house, have an unpacking party.
That's what we're doing Saturday. That's maybe where you help out and where Smitty won't help out.
I hate that I don't get to come to an unpacking party.
Well, it's going to be the girls unpacking and the guys basically cooking out.
Not my fault. Y'all could have had it next weekend.
No, we couldn't. We closed tomorrow or closed Thursday. And we're not going to sit around for a week and wait on you.
I mean, you can unpack it, but then have a cookout the next weekend.
No, I mean, we probably will anyway. But
so you got to have, it may happen, but the incentive is, that you have an unpacking party where you free food, free beer. That always works.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna hopefully build the bar downstairs Saturday as well.
Yeah.
So,
those are my tips coming from somebody who's moved 4 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah, you have moved around a lot.
So, I guess that's all for Road Topic. After we do Road Topic, we like to end the show with our band pick of the week. Do you guys have a band pick of the week?
I do. It is Jamie's Elsewhere.
Okay.
I know Josh has listened to this band in the past. I feel like Smitty has as well.
I've probably heard them.
They actually were at a concert you went to that got stormed out, remember?
Yep.
And you didn't really get to listen to them.
I didn't get to listen to them at all.
Nope. Which is very disappointing because you missed out. I know you weren't really excited about hearing them because they weren't somebody you went to see, but they were just kind of like the opening act. But you really missed out.
Yeah, it kind of irritated me a little bit because, you pay money, I want to see all of them unless I just absolutely know that I don't like somebody.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So, this is an interesting one. The band that because I'd read an article about Rock Band, and I was like, man, I remember Rock Band. I remember Guitar Hero, and I remember playing the hell out of that, and it reminded me of Dragon Force.
Ooh.
Yeah, Through the Fire and Flames. So I actually went back and have been listening to a little bit of Dragon Force this past week, and that song is
that album.
Yeah, that song is why I could never platinum /100% those games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now speaking of platinums, everybody knows my love of platinums. Smitty, haven't you procured a couple platinums recently?
Oh yes, I have $4.98 in 2 platinum trophies, and about 43 minutes for the first one, and maybe an hour and 15 minutes for the second one. They were absolutely god-awful games. One of them was called My Name is Mayo, and I literally tapped with the X button a bottle of mayonnaise over 10,000 times.
10,000 times.
Like, Brock was on with me, and we were in a party chat, and I literally laid back in my chair, and I put it on my chest and sat there and alternated index fingers hitting X. And I went to town. The other one was Mr. Masagi. Awful game.
It's made by the same people.
Yes, I know. Believe me, because one of the trophies is to get a 3-star date with mayonnaise from the Mayo game. Yeah, they were pretty bad, but they got me about 60 something trophies and 2 platinums. So I'll take it.
It's funny. I also have the My Name is Mayo platinum. I bought the game because I'd heard about it, and I was like, there's no way. And then I'm like, yeah, you seriously just hit X 10,000 times.
Other than alternating, like, outfits that the mayonnaise is wearing, you don't ever hit another button.
Nope, that's it. That is all you do.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I remember seeing the video you posted of this.
Oh my gosh. That's all I did for 43 minutes.
I thought, surely, that there's got to be something else to it.
No.
I was wrong.
Yep. There was absolutely nothing to it. Oh, man. All right. So, my band of the week, in honor of the Netflix show that I started again last night for the second season, Last Chance U, this, I'm going to take it back a little bit. Back to 2004. Bought it last night on iTunes. Crime Mob, Nuck If You Buck. Great song. They were listening to it at the before a football game started, and they were all just going nuts in the locker room. And I was like, "Oh man, I got to get that." So I downloaded the song. $1.29 well spent.
So I remember my brother asked me, like, "What does that mean?" What is
When that song came out, they were probably 10.
Let's see, 2004.
I was 15.
So I was in my sophomore year of high school.
I was like 17.
So my brothers were in middle school.
So they're 12, 13.
Depending on what part of 2014,
12,
it was
12
either
and 14.
it was either the end of my freshman year or the beginning of my sophomore year. Depending on when it was in 2014 or 2004.
I remember that song very well.
Yeah, it's a great song.
I may listen to it here in a little bit.
There's a solid chance that I will too.
If you didn't know, we are Heads at Havoc, a weekly podcast that releases every Wednesday, rain or shine, even if we only got 3 people.
And nobody dies.
Yeah. Well, now we've mentioned
Until
it.
that, yeah.
We can't get through a fucking podcast.
Hashtag free Brock.
If you like what you hear, head over to patreon.com/headset-havoc and look at our tiers. If something tickles your fancy, pick one. Send us some of that sweet Patreon money.
Just $1.
Just $1, as little as $1. But if you want in on that game giveaway, it's $5 tier. Still a hell of a deal. Anyways, now I've lost my whole
You've lost it.
stream of thought. Blah blah blah. Yeah, this is us every week talking about video games.
Yeah.
So I heard this thing that's like bringing you the nerdy news you need to know, and I was like, God, I love that alliteration. That's fantastic. I can't use it, but that's fantastic.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Anyways, until next time, we are Heads at Havoc, and thanks for listening.